You know, most of us think we know the story of the Watchers. It's that simple tale of fallen angels, right? Heavenly beings who rebelled and were cast out. But if you dig into ancient texts like the Book of Enoch, you find something, well, something much deeper. A story that's less about good versus evil and more about a very specific and, frankly, a very dangerous mistake.
So let's just chew on that question for a second. This is the whole idea we're going to unpack in this explainer. What if the whole catastrophe, the one that supposedly led to the Great Flood, wasn't sparked by a war in heaven, but by a classroom on Earth? It kind of changes everything, doesn't it? Okay, let's dive in.
To really get our heads around this, we first have to reset our image of who or what the Watchers actually were, because that popular idea of them as these demonic rebels, it doesn't quite fit their original job description.
Right, so their name in Aramaic, Irin, it literally means the wakeful ones. Their whole job was right there in the name, to watch. They were supposed to be these cosmic observers, kind of like administrators, making sure the world was running in an orderly way, but always from a distance.
And this is absolutely crucial. Their first big mistake wasn't some act of war against the heavens. Nope. It was an act of, a boundary violation. They abandoned their posts. They closed that necessary gap between the celestial and the human, and by doing that, they kicked off a chain reaction that would end up corrupting the entire planet. And this, right here, this is the heart of the matter. Once they decided to intervene, what did they do? They didn't try to conquer humanity. They decided to teach us. Their crime was becoming humanity's teachers. The problem was, they had no authorization, and their timing was just catastrophic.
I mean, just look at the curriculum here. These are not just random skills. Every single one represents a massive shift in power. They didn't teach metallurgy for better farming tools. It went straight to swords, shields, and organized warfare. Cosmetology wasn't just about looking nice. It brought in vanity, lust, and deception. And sorcery and astrology? Wow. That gave humanity the tools to try and bend reality and peek into the future, abilities we were absolutely not ready to handle.
You know what's really wild? It's how incredibly direct the text is about this. It doesn't say the earth was ruined by the sins of Aziel or by his rebellion. No, it specifically says it was made desolate by the deeds of his teaching. The act of instruction itself is pinpointed as the source of all the corruption.
And this is where it gets so nuanced and brilliant. See, the problem was never the knowledge itself. In these same stories, you have archangels like Uriel giving cosmic secrets to the prophet Enoch. But that was different. It was authorized. It was given to one specific person who was prepared for it in a sacred and orderly way. The Watchers did the exact opposite. They just dumped all this powerful knowledge on everyone all at once, totally out of context, and just unleashed total chaos.
So this dangerous gap between having power and having the wisdom to use it, well, that leads us to a really modern idea that perfectly explains the crisis the Watchers created.
It's a concept called ethics readiness. You can think of it like a society's ethical immune system, right? It's the collective maturity and foresight we need to handle powerful new things without, completely destroying ourselves in the process.
The Watchers basically just hacked human development. They took this civilization with a super low ethics readiness and just firehosed it with advanced technology and incredible capabilities. They gave us the what can we do, how to forge swords, how to read the stars, but they gave us none of the should we do it, none of the wisdom.
And honestly, this is the perfect way to think about it. It's a modern analogy, but it just hits the nail on the head. They gave humanity world-changing power, but they gave it to a species that was still, ethically speaking, in its infancy. And the result was, it was predictable. We immediately started tearing everything apart.
And it's that catastrophic imbalance that completely reframes the whole story of the Great Flood. It suddenly looks less like a simple punishment and more like a necessary, almost mechanical solution for a system that was spiraling into pure chaos.
You can really see how it all snowballs, right? Step 1, they intervene. Step 2, they dump all this premature knowledge. Step 3, the whole system goes haywire. Violence, corruption, even the Nephilim are born, who are themselves a violation of the natural order. At that point, the system is so broken, so unstable, that a hard reset is the only option left. The flood wasn't just about anger, it was a planetary reboot, a Control-Alt-Delete.
So why does this ancient story still hit so hard today? It's because that fundamental problem it describes, that massive gap between our power and our wisdom, is pretty much the defining challenge of our own time. I mean, just look at the parallel to Star Trek's Prime Directive. It's almost the one-for-one. The Federation's highest law is to never interfere with less advanced cultures. Why? Because they know that giving a civilization advanced tech before they're ready for it almost always ends in self-destruction. The Watchers were basically the original Starfleet captains who broke that sacred rule.
And we are surrounded by these modern echoes, artificial intelligence, genetic engineering, global networks that connect all of us all the time. These are our forbidden arts. They give us unbelievable power, but our ethical readiness, our wisdom to manage them, it feels like it's lagging way behind. Some people even call the architects of our modern world the new Watchers, handing out these world-changing gifts without a clear roadmap for the consequences.
And this is why this whole myth is so important. It isn't a story warning us against being curious or trying to learn new things. Not at all. It's a warning about timing and being prepared. It forces us to look in the mirror and ask, are we actually building the wisdom and the ethical strength we need to handle the incredible power we're creating for ourselves? So maybe the ultimate lesson from the Watchers is this. The difference between a gift that lifts us up and a weapon that destroys us isn't actually the knowledge itself. It's about our readiness to receive it.